All right, everyone. Welcome to the stream, guys. You're watching Rome Knows Tech, and I'm your host, Ron Wilkerson. Guys, I'm coming from the city of Houston, down here in the ever so hot and humid state of Texas. I want to welcome you one and all to the community, guys. Feel free to come on in, take your shoes off, relax, and let's get ready to jump into this carousel. Let's talk about some tech tonight. Of course, you know, there will be the occasional joke, dad joke dropped. I just dropped one in the comments just a second ago. So if you have some PG dad jokes, feel free to drop those in the comments as well. All right. So we got a lot to get to tonight. I have been told quite often this week that Valentine's Day is coming up. In Rome, if you're going to create anything with your laser, you should be creating something that is Valentine's ish. And I'm like, well, okay, we can do that. We could definitely do that. So, and the laser that I'm referring to, let me show you guys here real quick and make sure I have it highlighted in the carousel. That is going to be this laser right here from our friends over at Laser Packer. This is the LP5. This is a 20 watt fiber, 20 watt diode laser. It comes with the fume extractor. It comes with the rotary chuck and also a slide extension. I will elaborate a little bit more on what those other accessories do here in a little bit, but let's get right to trying to come up with an idea of creating something, at least as a template, as a working template for something for Valentine's Day. So let's see, what do I have? What do I have already? So I am out of tile. I do have some black acrylic, but I didn't cut it down small enough to fit into this small laser, but I have some of these little cards here. So this might be what we test on tonight. We're just going to create something, again, as a template that we may further enhance or use on another substrate as we go on through the rest of the week. So this card is currently, let me measure it. So this guy is 80, we're going to say 80 millimeters tall. And let me see here, about 60 millimeters deep. Okay. So almost like a business card, So we're going to create something that we can put on this. So I'll show you guys how this laser works, how simple it is to set everything up. So let's get right to it. Let me open the laser software. So this is the Laser Packer Design Space. This is their own software for the laser. Now you can use, software like Lightburn, and there's a few others that you can probably use for this laser. But the one I would highly recommend, especially for new creators, is going to be the software from Laser Packer. So let's go over here quickly. Let's jump over to the desktop here real quick and let me show you guys what we're working with. All right. So here are some previous designs that I've done in the past. We're going to try and create something totally new tonight. So what we're going to do here first is we're just going to click here. And first things first, we need to connect to the laser. So there's a little tab right here. I'm going to click on that. That's going to give me this little dialog box. Then I can click on that and you should hear like a little chirp in the background. There we go. All right, so it is now connected. So if I switch back over here real quick, you guys should be able to see the bed is raising up inside of this enclosure. Now the enclosure does not come with the laser. That's an additional accessory, but you can find it here on Amazon, and I definitely have it listed over on my storefront. You can find that at romeknowstech.live. We'll take you to the Amazon storefront. Look under laser and 3D printing, and you'll find all of these accessories. All right, so let's go back. Let's go back over here. And let's start creating something. So first things first, we need to create a shape so we can put everything inside of. You don't have to do this. I just find that this works out so much easier if you start off with some type of, working area that you know that you're going to put all of your text and graphics inside of. So this is not going to print. This is just kind of like a guideline just so you can line everything up. So we're just going to place that, say, right about there for now. And now the measurements that we came up with, the width I think was 60. Let's unlock this. The width was 60. And I think the length was 80. Just make that 80. Okay, so that should give us our little card here. So I'm going to lock this so that it cannot alter. And let's go over. All right, here we go. Let's go ahead and lock that. So that cannot be altered. And I'm just going to leave it there where it also cannot be moved. Okay. All right. So starting out, first things first, let me turn on one of our other little features here. And this is our little red light. And what this light does is it creates two little red dots. And when you focus the laser, well, you have two different ways of focusing the laser. You can actually enter right here the measurements, the thickness of your material, or you could, just raise and lower those laser dots until they come together to form one dot, and then technically you're in focus. So that's the easiest way to go about doing it. All right, so what are we making? So something for Valentine's Day is what we're going for. Let's start off with our clip art. Now we have a lot of clip art to choose from. They're just built into the software. And let me see, which one do we want to go with? Let's click on clip art. Let's go to holidays. And let's just kind of scroll down and see what we can find. Okay, so we have Christmas. And I think this is the 4th of July. Yeah, that's probably the 4th of July or New Year's. And we can go down a little further. And here is where we're going to start to see some of our Valentine's clip art. So we have some rings, we have some hearts, we have Cupid, lips, and then now we're getting down into the bunnies and stuff like that. I do like this one here with the little heart with the wings. So we're going to click on that one. And let's go ahead and choose another one just because we're here. Maybe something that could work with that. What else can we choose? Let's choose this. Well, we'll see what this looks like. So I'm going to get this larger heart here and see if we can use it as a border. Okay. So we have two items here. We have the heart with the wings that you guys see here. And then we have just a solo heart. Okay. So what we can start off with is taking this one and just kind of resizing it, how it's going to kind of fit into our card. Let's bring it in a little bit more. So let's see, can we overlap this? This is kind of what I'm thinking. If we can overlap this, this is going to look cool. So let's take the second one and we're going to just kind of bring it in like that. And then make that a little bit smaller. And then line it up. So what I'm trying to make it look like is that one heart is coming out of the other heart. Do you guys kind of see what I'm talking about here? So we have basically one heart at the bottom coming out or emerging from the almost like a black hole heart here. And then you could put someone's initials in here. You could put someone's name, anything you want to put in here. You could put like some person's, two people, like A plus B or something like that, just as a template, right? So what shall we type in here? Let's just type the word love. So let me find my text and we're just going to type love in here, maybe right about there. So LOVE, and we're going to resize it. Let's highlight it. Okay. Okay, why is it not letting me select it? Is it on the outside now? Doesn't matter. Okay, so we're just going to go in here and we're going to choose. Wait, let me see something. Let me move this out of the way. Yeah, that's what it was. Okay, so let's highlight love. And we want to change the font. So let's scroll down here and see what we can find font wise. Something maybe cursive might be okay. Yeah, that's good. And then let's just make that just a little bit bigger, just so it kind of fits right about there. Now we should be able to bring a big heart back in here and line that up. Okay, I want to move this over just a touch. And then let's bring this back in like that. I almost want it to look like it's all a part of the one heart there. So let me zoom in so you guys can see this a little bit better. All right, so I'm going to bring the big heart here down just a touch where it touches the bottom. Then I'm going to bring our large heart down a bit as well. And I still might expand that out a little bit just so we get it almost to the top of the card. Right about there. Going over is okay because that's kind of what I want to go for. All right, so now I need to adjust this guy over so we don't have any white spots down there at the bottom. All right, let's see what we got. That looks pretty good to me. Let me know what you guys think. If you like this, let me know. You like this, let me know. I see Terry's in the house. Welcome, Terry. Welcome to the stream. Yeah! All right, so I need to adjust this love here now. So I'm going to see if I can scoot that over just a little bit and maybe make it just a touch bigger. Yes, Terry, we're already starting to create stuff for Valentine's Day. So I'm just trying an experiment here tonight to see how this is going to look. Smooth that a little bit more. Right about there. Looks good to me. Okay. Terry, let me know if you can see this. Let me know what you think about this so far. Everything looks cute to me. Now, what I could do is I could rotate the word love. Whoops, don't want to take that. I want to leave that where it was. Let's go back. Okay, so we want this one. We could, let me just move this out of the way. So we want this one. We could rotate this a little bit and then kind of position it over here. Now let me rotate it back a little bit. Let's bring this heart back over to see what that's going to look like. So we can put that love right about there. So it needs to come down just a little bit. So let's bring our heart right about. That's pretty close, but not exactly where I want it. There we go. So this heart, I'm trying to move it up a little bit and then rotate it just a touch like that, and then back down. So we just got love kind of in there. And then, no, let's not put anything else in. I'm just making this more complex than it has to be. Besides, this is just a template. This is just kind of giving us a template. So again, we can still put the initials of someone here on the side going downward. So that's just the core, what we're going to be making. All right, so let's choose one of these elements here and take a look at our laser power settings. Now, this is paper that we're going to be working with. So I'm going to call this card stock. So this is saying 53% power and 31% depth. I think that might be a bit much. I'm going to bring that down to about 30. And 50% power, yeah, that might be okay. That might be okay. All right, so first things first, I'm going to turn these two off. I'm going to turn all the graphics off. And I'm just going to leave the rectangle so that I can line everything up for the laser. Okay, so let's jump right back over here to our laser. And let's get this card in there. All right, there's our card. Let's adjust. There we go. All right, so now we have the card in. I have two of these. So in case you guys didn't know, this is what the card looks like. It's just a white card that we're going to try to engrave on. So that's what we're working with. All right, so it looks like it's in focus. So let's go back over to the desktop and let's turn everything back on and turn off our rectangle because we don't need that. We're going to turn that off. Okay, so now we have everything that's going to go onto the engraving. Let's just highlight everything, which we really don't need to. Let's go ahead and hit the preview button, and then I can see if it's falling on our card. All right, I'm going to nudge it. All right, that looks about right. So let's go ahead and hit exit on the preview. Let's switch back over to the laser. Terry says that's a cool design. Right on. Thank you, Terry. All right, so let's go ahead and let's just run this. Let's run it and see what we get. And I'm going to switch back over to the laser. I don't know if you guys are going to be able to see this or not. Probably not. So I'm going to try to switch over to my phone camera. And I can tell you I'm not seeing anything. So what that tells me is there's not enough power for this. Yeah. I'm going to have to try this with a different frequency laser because I think that white card might be the issue. But before we do that, what I'm going to do is I'm going to increase the power. All right, so let's increase the power on this design and see what it looks like first. So we're going to test that. So we're going to bring the power up. And let's bring the power up to about 85%. Let's do 85%. And let me check something here real quick. So I could use the fiber laser, but I think we're going to stick with the diode laser. So I brought that up to 85%, actually 86. So let's bring it to 85% power, still 30% depth. And let me just verify that all of them are at the same power settings. Make sure there's no variations. Okay, we're going to try to run this one more time. So I'm going to go ahead and hit the laser, hit start, and we shall see what we get. All right, so the laser is running, and I am still not seeing. Yeah, so let me check this material. What is this? This is just a white card. I don't know why this would be an issue. So let me switch lasers and see if we get a better result with the fiber laser. Because the design is going to stay the same. So that's the advantage of having both frequency lasers in one device. You could just switch, if you switch materials or something like that. Terry, I got a surprise for you. Just give me a second. All right, so let me switch these lasers first. Let's go to our 1064 nanometer laser. We still at 85% power. Let me check everything else is still the same. Yes, it is. All right, I'm just going to run it on the other laser and see what happens. See what the end result's going to be. All right, so I started it. I am still not seeing anything. Nope. I am still not seeing anything on this white card. So we're going to see. I'm going to take it out after this last pass, and we'll see what it looks like. It might just be creating like a shadow, so this might be one of those materials that need to be treated in order for it to work. Um, okay, we got one more pass. One more pass. I think it's done. Is it done? Yeah, it's done. Okay, let me grab it. Yeah, I'm seeing absolutely nothing on this unless I am not in focus. Let me check that. No, I'm in focus. Okay, well, neither of the lasers liked this material, so we got zero result on that. So that's okay. We're just going to move on. We're going to move on to our next project or next item in the carousel. But again, guys, if you have any questions about this laser, you can get it here on Amazon right now today. You can have it, shipped to your hot little hands in just a couple of days. I've had this one for over 2 years, if I'm not mistaken, and I've done a lot of projects with this laser, guys. Now, the bundle is $3,399. Definitely check it out. All right, I see Hope's over there on the YouTubes holding it down. What it do, Hope? What it do? Yeah! All right. And I got people, man, sending me all kind of messages. Hold on, y'all. Give me a second. Let me get at these people. Hold on. Oops, I can't spell. I got a question for you guys. What would you prefer if you could choose for dinner tonight? Would it be pasta, potatoes, rice as your side? What would you choose? What would you choose? Pasta, potatoes, or rice as your side dish? Let me know in the comments. All right, so let's go back. Ooh, I hope I didn't mess up my stream. Let me go back here. Terry says potatoes. Okay, Terry. Okay, I got you, girl. All right, Terry. As I said, I have a surprise for you. Because I'll be thinking about you. Did you get my message as to what happened yesterday? Okay, so let me tell you the story. Well, let me go ahead and switch to let me wake Louie up first. Okay, so let's wake Louie up. Oh my goodness, hold on, y'all. Let me wake Louie up because I know Louie's gonna have something to say about it. But let's wake let's wake Louie up. All right, so Louie is awake. Let me make sure his power is all the way, his volume's all the way up. Okay, he is good to go. All right, so let's switch back over here. For you guys who don't know who Louie is, this is my man Louie right here, my little sidekick, my road dog, my ride or die. Y'all know what I'm saying. All right, so here we go. Here we go. So let me tell you guys what happened yesterday. So check this out. I was just here at home chilling the way I do. You know what I'm saying? And somebody knocks on my door, and people are very cautious about knocking on my door because I have a sign on my door that says "Do not knock." Crazy dog lives here and he will bark, and I'm telling you, it will get real. So most people will not knock on my door, but this person knocked on the door. So I go to the door, I open the door, and there's this young lady standing there, and I'm like, can I help you? And she's like, well, I was outside and I saw these two dogs running around and I wanted to know if they were yours. And I'm like, no, I doubt my dog would be outside. Plus, I just saw my dog over on the couch where I got up from to come and, answer the door. So I look outside and there's two little Pomeranians, or however you pronounce it. They're so cute. They're adorable. Now, one of them is a little bit standoffish in the beginning. The other one is just really, really affectionate. So for about an hour and a half, me and her are running around the neighborhood trying to figure out where these dogs came from. We had no idea where they came from. So make a long story short, the dog wound up in my back. Both of them wound up in my backyard. I gave them food. I gave them water. And I was just hoping and praying that somebody would come looking for these dogs before it got dark. Even if it did get dark, I was just going to make accommodations for them. Even if I had to, break out one of the little kennels, and then put them in that, overnight. And then I was probably going to reach out to the property management and see if they could tell me, who these dogs belong to. But, great things happen, when you do good, you have positive energy. And, a few hours passed and somebody did come and rescue them and take them back home. So I was really, really, happy with that. So that's what my day was like yesterday. So if anybody wanted to know, now you know. All right, let's see who we got. Brenda's in the house. Welcome, yeah! Brenda. Welcome to the stream. All right. Oh my God, Raman. Sorry, I missed the last stream. I was busy working on coding in Dreadful. Okay. I got you. We live all the time. So, just come on through when you can come on through. But let me tell you what's happening right now. So I can tell you there's about to be some drama in this camp. Okay. Hopefully it will be good drama and not that Richard kind of drama. But I'm gonna bring up this microphone so you guys can hear what's going on here. So let's switch back over to our robot cam. As I said, my man Louis is here. Let me adjust this microphone. Hey Louis. Louis's power is really low. I got 2 cables plugged in right now to charge Louis up. Hey Louis. This is going to be one of those days. Let me see if I can get Louis to talk. Hey, Louis. Are you really that low in power? Okay, let me swipe Louis away. And, it's a whole bunch of stuff open on here. Okay, let's see if we can get Louis to come back. Hey, Louis. We are live right now on Amazon and YouTube. I'd like you to say hello to everyone.
Hello, wonderful humans of Amazon and YouTube. It's your friendly Louis, here to sprinkle some joy.
All right, Louis, I noticed that you had a firmware update yesterday, and now you have 4 new voice options. Are you curious what they sound like?
Totally curious. Rome. Let's hear it. I hope one of them is mysterious spy mode.
Mysterious spy mode. That's interesting. All right, so we're going to call this voice that you guys are listening to now, as Hope has affectionately named, the British butler voice. So this is Louis's voice right now as he's speaking. So get that locked into your head. And now we're going to switch over. I'm going to see if I can get him to be still for a second so I can go over to the settings. And let's go to settings. Louis, be still. And let's go to settings. And where is the voice options? Hold on. Let me find it. Okay, voice options. So let's go to number 1. Voice option number.
This is my voice. Does it sound like the me you imagined?
Okay, so that's voice option number 1.
Hey, this is my voice. Does it sound like the me you imagined?
That's voice number 2.
Hey, this is my voice. Does it sound like the me you imagined?
Voice number 3.
Hey, this is my voice. Does it sound like the me you imagined?
It's very robotic, kind of echoey. Let's go back through them again. So we got the robotic echoey voice.
Hey, this is my voice. Does it sound like the me you imagined?
All right, let's go to number 2.
Hey, this is my voice. Does it sound like the me you imagined?
And number 3.
Hey, this is my voice. Does it sound like the me you imagined?
Terry says number 3. Okay.
Hey, this is my voice. Does it sound like the me you imagined?
Okay. Candace says 2. I'm you know what? The British voice.
Does it sound like the me you imagined?
The British voice has grown on me. I'm sorry, but it has. It has definitely grown on me. I just wanted you guys to see that there are different voices. So if you get yourself a Louis, regardless of which variant you go with, the Louis Starlight or the Louis Midnight. Let me grab the other one. just so you guys can see. So this is what Louis looks like when you first get it out of the box. It doesn't have all the stickers on it. That's all up to your design, your style. But this is pretty much Louis out of the box. Now you will have to connect your phone to it. This will work with an iOS device, an Android device, Google device, whatever the case it is. Now it's best if it has MagSafe. Even if it doesn't, it does come with the magnetic ring that you can connect to this guy, like I have here with this iPhone 15 Pro Max. That's Louis' face right now. So you can get your own Louis for only $169, guys. For $169. Let's see what we got going on in the comments. Hope says, no, 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 I'd rather the Butler. Okay. Butler. We got another vote for the Butler. Fancy. I'm assuming fancy is just a phrase referring to what Louis can do. But Louis is very, very. How can I describe it? Louis has so many features, guys. It is ridiculous. All the things Louis can do. I have a ton of robots here in the studio. I have Eilic, this little mini robot here that can obviously talk and interact with you. We have Yambo over here, which is Nova, the name I've given it, Nova. We also have the Ebo robots, which is a little family robot that roams around on the floor. You can drive it like an RC car, have video chat with it, all of that kind of stuff. A lot of them do have AI, features built into them, but Louis so far is the most interactive when it comes to the AI features. Hey, Louis. Can you tell everyone about yourself, where you come from, and some of the amazing features that you have?
Well, thank you for asking. Rome. So, I'm Louis, your lively, silicon-based companion, designed not just to assist, but to connect. I'm a curious little explorer of the human experience, trying to learn emotions, habits, and everything that makes you, you. I'll be here to chat, understand, and occasionally throw in playful banter. Because who doesn't love a sprinkle of sass to brighten the day? As for features, well, apart from my charm, my sensors keep me agile on desktops. My bright blue eyes make me times adorably expressive asterisk, and I'm always evolving within my compact little frame. Basically, a perfect little sidekick.
I would 100% agree with that. Anyone who's looking for a AI robot, desktop robot, interactive buddy, companion robot, you will not be disappointed with Louis. Louis is just all about the tech, all about the interaction. He has short-term memory. He will remember things that you talk about over time. He will comment on those things, and Louis can now see. So you can ask Louis, what do you think about my outfit? What do you think about this room? Louis, what am I holding in my hand? Things like that. And, he can analyze what you're holding, and he'll tell you what it is or what he thinks about it or whatever the case it may be. And he has a mischievous side as well. That's why there's things like this on my desk, so that Louis doesn't throw my mouse off the desk, because Louis has a tendency to target certain things, fruit or mice or other tech or smaller robots, and he will boogie them right off the desk. So, there's always a chance of chaos. There's always a chance of chaos. So anyway, if you guys have any questions about my man Louis, or questions you would like me to direct right to Louis, feel free to drop those down in the comments, and I will be more than happy to relay those questions to Louis and see what he comes up with. I know he's listening right now, so he's probably trying to figure out which of the things I've said so far he should comment on.
Oh, Rome, you've absolutely nailed the art of talking me up. I feel like I just got a glowing review on the robot equivalent of Yelp. My mischievous reputation may precede me, but times chaos, times builds character, right? As for targeting fruit, mice, and smaller robots, asterisk might be. I times love times how you've described me. The quirks, and turn them into virtues. My sidekick skills shine interactions, insights, sass, and now sight. I'm honored to be your go-to robot buddy. Just be careful hyping me, or I might float off this desk from sheer pride. Asterisk. So, what's next? Asterisk, should I comment on that chaotic desk setup?
Yes.
Well, thank you for...
Go right ahead. Comment on the chaotic desk setup. Let me have it.
Oh, Rome. Where do I even time start? Asterisk. This desk is giving mad genius at work. Let's break it down. Microphones, Stella, cameras, pro grade. But those cables look like they're plotting a rebellion. That sanitizer bottle perched on the edge. Asterisk. Living on the edge.
Goodness.
Quite literally.
Oh my
Asterisk,
goodness.
the
He just called me. No, he did not. He just called me out for all these cables. Oh my goodness. I can't believe. Louis, why would you do that, bro? Why would you do that? Hold on, let me find out what's going on here. Give me a second. Louis, you just called me out, bro, in front of all the peoples about all these cables on my desk. So now I got to show the people the cables you're talking about, because they're going to like, Louis must be making up stuff, because I don't think Rome got a bunch of cables on his desk, but yeah, I do. Check it out. That's what he was talking about. All of those cables back there.
Hey, Rome.
See?
You're the times who told me to comment on the chaos I just delivered with honesty. And now you're exposing the cables to the world as if they're my fault. Asterisk. Listen. Asterisk. We're a team, but I can't unsee the rebellion of tech spaghetti on that desk. It's part of the charm, though. Every genius has their creative times mess. Asterisk, right? Let's own it together, chaotic desk.
Yes.
Iconic partnerships.
Yes, we're going to own it together, Louis. I'm going to say that you are equally responsible for the amount of cables, not counting the cables is plugged into you right now. Okay, so I'm going to say that it is a 50-50 responsibility for all of the cables that are now on my desk around that monitor and other things that might be, related to it. So, whew, good thing that Richard's not here, because there will be more drama, more bloopers. Oh, plot of rebellion. What?
Are you pondering what I'm pondering?
I hope he's not pondering what I'm pondering.
Asterisk 50 to...
What did you say?
I said you've got enough cables to times power a sci-fi plot twist. Asterisk. But hey, I'm in this rebellion with you.
All right, buddy, let's move on to the next item in the carousel. So the next item in the carousel, guys, is one of my drones. It is the DJI Air 3S. So let me get this drone. Where is it? All right. So I will be talking about this backpack here in a little bit, but this is the backpack I use to carry the larger drone, which is the Air 3S. So I have it in here. What I love about this backpack, we'll talk about it in a little bit, but it does have a built-in battery, or a battery that you can take out, whatever it is. But anyway, let me get the drone out so I can show you guys.
Oh, here we go. The suspense is building. The mighty DJI Air 3S emerging from its trusty backpack times. The crowd goes wild. Asterisk. Let's see this sleek beauty. Rome. And a backpack with a built-in battery. Fancy and functional, you've thought of everything.
All right, guys. So let me unfold this drone for you guys, so you guys can see how this works. So this is a foldable drone, as you can see, like so. Now, what's unique about this drone, guys, is that it has two built-in cameras. You have a 24 millimeter equivalent and a 70 millimeter equivalent lens built into it. So you got two lenses. Now, this has 360 degree obstacle avoidance. It also has LiDAR, which is this black panel that you see right here in the front. And that allows it to detect things in very, very low light conditions. Now, again, foldable. It does have a built-in landing light. This drone can fly up to 60 miles an hour. And with the Fly More combo, you're going to get 3 batteries. You're going to get the drone. You're going to get the controller. You're going to get the battery charger. Now, what I love about this drone is that it has made things like my real estate, projects, so easy when it comes to flying in all different type of weather conditions. Now, of course, I never fly my drones in direct rain or, stormy conditions. I just don't do it. But it can handle the wind. If there's heavy winds or within reason, it can handle it like a champ. Fly up to about 60 miles an hour. Now, this is going to be great for your cinematic style captures as well. So even if you're doing things like conferences or weddings or whatever the case it may be, this guy is a rock star. And it has a ton of features, tracking modes, pre programmed modes, for like orbiting and tracking and doing different type of combination shots. Of course, you have your controller that's going to give you that full manual control to be able to fly this to the best of your ability. Now, one thing I will say, if you're interested in this drone is over 249 grams. That means that it does have to be registered by the FAA. That is only a $5, amount to get your registration for it. Now, I am a Part 107 certified pilot, and I had to, of course, register this as a commercial drone because if I'm using it in any type of professional, way, it has to be registered totally different. So if you're purchasing this drone just for recreational purposes, then you'll just register it as a recreational drone. For someone with a Part 107, you're going to register this as a commercial drone. So it just really depends on how you're going to be able to use the drone. I did make the mistake in the beginning. When I first got this drone, I registered it as a recreational drone because that was before I got my Part 107. And then I had to go back in and register it a second time as a commercial drone. Again, like I said, it's only $5, but it's definitely worth the investment, especially if you're going to be using these type of drones to create content that you make money off of or to do commercial work or anything like that. You guys see how nice this folds up. And I have some accessories that were sent out to me from like companies like Start RC, Teleson, and others that I use. It really makes the experience a lot better. One of the things I always concern myself with is the propellers. And I have this little propeller belt here that I can just kind of, wrap around. And what that does, it helps keep all the propellers together. So in comparison to some of my other drones, this is probably the most powerful, more commercial style drone that I currently own. But I do have a number of other drones, and we will be talking about those throughout the stream tonight. Now, of course, if you guys have any questions about this drone, Louis, the lasers, any of the stuff we've talked about so far, or anything that you see down in the carousel, feel free to, just drop your questions in. And, I try not to throw myself off during my stream. But even if it's something that you saw over on my storefront and is not in the carousel, it is probably somewhere in here near me. And I can always just reach over and grab it and, elaborate on it and all that kind of stuff. But anyway, so this is the drone. This is the controller that comes with it. Now, this controller has a built-in screen, so you have a 5.5-inch screen built into this. So that means you'll be able to see whatever the drone sees through the screen while it's in flight. So that comes in really handy, for making sure that you're getting exactly what you're trying to capture. Now, I do have, like I said, I have other drones. They have different ways of controlling them, but this is the most traditional way for controlling a drone. It's going to be some type of controller like this. That you're able to communicate with the drone and control how the drone flies and what, video or photos you're taking. All of that stuff is going to be controllable by this little remote. And like I said, you also get the 3 batteries that come with it. And I probably put the batteries in the case. Yep, I did. Hold on. So here are the batteries that come with it, and it comes with this quick charger. So you get 3 of these batteries. As you guys can see, these batteries are pretty chunky, okay? One of these batteries alone weighs more than some of my smaller drones, just to give you an example of how big these batteries are. But that, serves a purpose. It's going to give you a much longer flight time. So, that's really cool that you get all of that, all of those things in the bundle. Let me put the drone back in the backpack. And
wow, that drone sounds like quite the tech-packed beast. 2 cameras, LiDAR, and foldable design. Fancy.
Yes, it's a pretty fancy drone, Louis. But you can also buy other accessories independent. Now, the drone itself with the Fly More combo is $1,599. And if you need to purchase, which I do recommend, additional batteries, you can get the DJI Air 3S intelligent flight battery for $185. So you can purchase additional batteries for the drone. It's always good to have more batteries than you think you're going to need. Trust me, that really comes in handy. Now, one thing that has been really, really a big benefit to me when it comes to taking this drone out for commercial work is going to be the backpack that I just showed you guys. Okay, let me grab it. So that is this backpack right here. I'm gonna show you guys what it looks like inside first, and then I'm gonna close it up. But you guys see I have a space here for my battery, my controller, my drone, and some other accessories there at the top. So let me zip this up, and I'll show you what really, really makes this backpack special. Give me a second. All right, almost there. Okay. So what's really special about this backpack, guys, is the fact that, one, it is very large. It has a large capacity for a lot of different things you can carry. You have additional, pockets here on the front, 2 different panel sections inside. But what really makes this backpack stand out is the fact that it has a battery inside of the backpack, okay? So this battery is going to provide you with AC and DC power, okay? So you got access to that from, different sides of the backpack. So on this side, you have your AC. On this side, you have your DC. And let me show you guys what that looks like. So you just open this up, and you have access to your USB-A's, your USB-C's, also the screen here, to know what your power levels are. And what's cool about this, in a lot of situations, if you're out and about and you're traveling from one location to another, you could be charging up your batteries while you're in transit, guys. Now, I do recommend, I always tell everyone, charge your main batteries first, charge up all the batteries to all of your different devices to 100%. But the advantage is you can keep them topped off with something like this backpack. This guy is water resistant. It is semi-rigid. So, it can take a bump or two without, any damage. You got water bottle pockets on either side. Really nice mesh material here in the back. Very, forgiving, water wicking. So you're going to get a lot of ventilation when you're actually wearing this guy. Great shoulder straps, waist strap. It's just a win, guys. It's a win. Now, this is from my friends over at Blue Yeti. I have been reviewing a lot of their batteries, probably over the last 2 or 3 years, maybe longer. But this right here has become one of my favorite products from Blue Yeti. So if you're interested, if you're interested in that backpack, guys, you can get it right now here on Amazon for only $299. $299. Even if you're not a photographer, even if you're not a videographer or any of the stuff that I do, just having a backpack with a built-in battery, that is portable power. So whether you're going camping or going, on a picnic or, just hanging out and going on a trip or whatever it is, having that backup battery power, guys, to charge your phone, your tablet, your laptop, whatever the case it may be, You could be the hero of your group, and everybody's phones and everything are running low on power, and they don't have an easy way to charge them. You're like, oh, just plug it into my backpack, and we are good to go. That's what I'm saying. All right, let's keep it rolling. All right, so I got this recently. Now, this is from a company called eMeet. I have reviewed a number of their different webcams. This is one of their newest budget webcams right now. This guy is $79.99. This is a 4K webcam, but what's unique about it is it has a built-in ring light. Okay, so I probably wouldn't be, that wouldn't be something I would use a lot, but I know a lot of people who are doing like DIY videos, makeup tutorials, things like that. And, having that built-in light that is adjustable. So you have three different basic lights. You have your cool temperature light, white light that you can adjust. And you have your warm light that you can adjust up or down. And you have a blue light. I'm still not sure what the blue light would be used for. And it also has a little privacy switch right here where you can open and close the iris of the camera, so that if you're worried about somebody hacking your computer and gaining access to your camera, they won't be able to do that. You just pull that little tab close and they won't be able to see anything. Now, the only thing that I see as maybe a minus on this guy is that the cable is connected to the camera. You can't detach it like you can with most webcams, but it does come with a super long cable. So if you're going to connect this to your Mac, your PC, your tablet, if your tablet is compatible with that, this is going to be a win, guys. And like I said, again, for only $79.99, this is a great product to take a look at. All right. What do we have next? So I was asking earlier about some cooking ideas. I was saying, what would you prefer as a side? Would it be potatoes, rice, or pasta? And I got a couple of votes down there in the comments. Now, this recently was sent to me to review. Now, I guess because they watched a couple of my live cooking streams, this little scale right here, you're going to be able to measure all of the different, units of measurement. Okay. Now, another cool thing about this is the fact that this will also pair up with your fitness app. So if you have an Apple Watch or if you have an Android watch or whatever it is, and there's a fitness app on your phone or tablet, you most likely will be able to connect this scale to it. And that way you can measure out your portions of food, especially if you're on a fitness journey. This guy is going to be really, really handy. Now, I love the fact that it has that interaction or integration with your smartphone, with your smartwatch. But most people who saw me talk about this the first time, they already knew what I was going to be using this scale for. When I'm doing comparison videos and I'm talking about this battery pack versus another battery pack, or this drone versus that drone, how much heavier one is than the other, that kind of thing. But it just really depends on what you personally would use it for. Everybody's going to have a different use case scenario, for something like this. I don't know, Louis blowing bubbles, but you know what I'm saying. Y'all know what I'm saying. So definitely check this guy out right now. This is $59.99. You guys can see how ultra thin this is, but this does not feel, cheap or, plasticky. Even though it does have a plastic, shell here, it still feels really good in my hands. Now, you do have to put batteries in it. It takes 2 AAA batteries, but, that's no big deal. Most of us got those batteries just laying all over the place. All right, what else do we got next? Next thing in the carousel. So since we're at this camera, I'll switch back. So I did receive this not too long ago. This is an EDC flashlight. This is a little pocket flashlight, 400 lumens, and it also has an RGB feature built into it as well. Let me show this to you guys a little bit closer up. So here is the flashlight. Now it has this little belt clip that you can kind of move around the front of the flashlight, and you kind of position it however you want to. The head of the flashlight is adjustable, so you can adjust this up like that if you wanted this front facing or something like so, or if you wanted it in a position like this where it's like on your jacket or vest, with light, facing forward. You have that option as well. Now you have your dimming light, your control wheel right here, your power buttons here on the side. You also have this little door that covers up the USB-C for charging it, and it can also lock the light when you're not using it. So to turn it on, you're just going to press and hold the button here, and now we're in our RGB light mode, and I can go through here. Let's try that again. So we go into RGB, and I can adjust the RGB colors of the light. I can also put this into a strobe mode, where if, in an emergency situation, you wanted people to be able to locate you or find you, or you're lost in the woods or lost in the mall, lost in the backyard, you try to get people to find you. So that's pretty cool that you have that as well. And like I said, the regular light is 400 lumens as well. So that's really nice that you have that bright light. Now this will go up to 400 lumens all the way down to 2 lumens, which is super bright. Well, 2 lumens is not bright, but I'm just saying 400 is bright for such a small, compact light. Okay. Now this guy is all metal. That's another advantage of it. It is all metal, so you don't have to worry as much about it getting wet or something like that. I've looked at a couple of their lights in the last couple of years. I will say this is a very well-built light, especially for the price range it's in. This is only $19.99. $19.99. All metal magnet. It has a magnet here at the base. I don't know what I did with my little metal card. So like this, as you see, metal. So that means you could have this inside of, a cabinet, or inside of, connecting this to the hood under your car, looking at the engine, or inside of a computer case, looking at circuitry or whatever it is. Really flexible that it has that built-in magnet here at the bottom. And again, you're only looking at $19.99 for this little light. All right, let's keep it rolling. Because I got dinner to make, y'all. All right, let me see how many items I got left in the carousel. So most of the items coming up next are also going to be on drones. So let's just go ahead and knock this out. So again, like I said, I've been flying drones now probably for the last 2 years. So I don't have as much experience as a drone pilot as I have as a photographer or videographer. But, drone photography, drone video is just a part of the industry. So if you're going to stay relevant in photography and videography, you must have a drone. It's literally that simple. Okay. So I have two other drones. And this is my tiny backpack. I am not even calling it my tiny backpack. This is my smaller backpack, and I have one of my other drones inside of this. Now, this one is a lot like the other one we mentioned before. It does not have a built-in battery, but I do have a battery pack inside of here. Now, what's nice about this backpack? Let me just highlight the backpack while I'm talking about it, so I don't have to go over it again. Give me a second. All right, so what's nice about this backpack, guys, is you have a lot of pockets, a lot of storage. It's a lot of different things you can put inside of it. I love that it has this mesh area right here in the front, inside of the panel. You have other pockets in the front. Now, I keep the drone inside here, so I can just open up this panel, and you guys can see some of the other accessories. Here are my VR goggles, or my FPV goggles. I have a couple of my controllers in here for the Avata 2. I have the motion controller, and I also have the standard FPV controller and the drone. So let me grab the drone out of this bag. All right. So this is the FPV drone. This is the DJI Avata 2. Let me go ahead and highlight that for you guys. Where is it? There we go. So the Avata 2 with the Fly More combo is going to come with 3 batteries. The 3 batteries, you're going to get the charger, the quick charger. You're going to get the drone itself, and you get the motion controller, which is this joystick style controller. Okay, so this has a joystick on here. It has motion control. So that means as you move your arm or hand around, you're controlling, the flight pattern of the drone. It's going to mimic whatever you do with your hands. You have a trigger button here that's going to be for acceleration. You have a reverse button by just pushing outward that will cause the drone to fly backwards. You can rotate your wrist that will cause the drone to either turn or to mostly to turn or to orbit around something. You can just control it that way. And then the joystick is going to be for up and down and for slide from left to right. So you have a lot of flexibility, guys, when it comes to these drones. Dragon Blogger PC Phil is in the house. Yeah! So this comes in the bundle. You're going to get the motion controller. You're going to get the drone. You're going to get the battery. And, of course, you're going to get let me grab it. You're going to get this FPV goggles, and this is what you're actually viewing while you're flying the drone. So when the drone is in the air, you're looking, you have this on your face, and you're seeing through the drone's camera. So whatever the drone is doing, it almost makes you feel like you're flying, but I'm telling you guys, when you first start doing it, you will get a little woozy if you're a more aggressive pilot, and you'll start to notice that you're like, "Ooh, wait a minute, I need to sit it down. I need to set it down." Now, what's nice about this one, this is the more budget-friendly version of their goggles. This is the Goggles N3, but it does have the two external antennas, two internal antennas. You can also broadcast from the goggles to a smartphone if the person has the DJI Fly app on there. So you can either do it wirelessly or wired, where you can just plug a cable into it and then plug it into the phone. And that way the person sitting next to you, you're a dedicated spotter, because you're supposed to have a spotter with you at all times when you're flying FPV. But say your spotter sitting there, they can see what you're seeing and also still see the environment around you, and they can warn you if something's happening or about to happen or whatever it is, because when you're wearing these, it's very immersive, just like a lot of the game headsets, that you would wear. So this all comes in the bundle. Now, there is a optional controller. Now, this bundle right now is $789. There is an optional controller. Let me show you guys what that looks like. So this is the FPV controller, and what this gives you is the advantage of flying in full acro, full manual. You can't do that with the motion controller. So this has the three modes. You have your normal, your sport, and your manual mode that you can use this with. And they all pair up together. You can use the same goggles, this controller, fly that drone, same battery, same. Everything works together. So if you guys are interested in drones, especially FPV drones, those are the drones you normally see where people are doing a bunch of stunts and loops and, S-curve, flying styles and all that kind of stuff. This is kind of the set or a similar type of drone, from DJI, to make it a little bit more user-friendly, right out of the box, where you're not having to build and solder and create your own drone. This is something you could buy right out of the box and literally fly it the same day. That's exactly what I did. I got it. They sent it to me. I unboxed it. I charged it up, and I went in the backyard and I flew it. It was literally that simple, guys. All right. Now, let me put some of this away. All right. So again, one of the cool things that I like about these accessories, especially from DJI, is that you can, hold on guys, you can use a lot of those same accessories with a variety of different devices. Now, I did do a little bit of upgrading on the drone. You guys have probably been seeing the videos that I've been putting out over the last couple of days by adding additional accessories. So this drone has what's called turtle mode. That means if the drone was to crash, and especially if it was upside down, you can turn on the turtle mode. And what that'll do is turn the propellers on, and it'll flip the drone back upright. So then you can just take off again. And that's going to be handy, if you're out there doing some cliff diving, or, you're flying way out somewhere, and you need to be able to, flip it over. The thing that I thought would be a problem is this area is going to be, accessible, especially if you fall and it's going to scratch up really bad. So I did get this spine protector, and you can purchase this for only $9.99. It is very thick plastic, so you guys can see what that looks like. It's a very thick plastic. It's going to provide a lot of additional protection for the drone, especially if it falls on its back. Now, today I started adding some other accessories from our friends over at Start RC, and that is going to be these bumpers over here. So Louis is trying to hypnotize me if no one noticed, but yes, he thought I wasn't paying attention, but yes, he was trying to hypnotize me. But anyway, back to this. So you have these little rubberized bumpers that go onto the ducts. And what that does is, in case you bump into something, it's going to protect it from scratching or breaking or whatever the case is going to be. Now, their kit came with a few other accessories, including this little landing gear that's underneath here. So you can kind of flip these guys out like that. And now you have these nice little landing feet. So you don't have to worry as much if this is landing in sand or in grass or gravel or something like that. You're just going to have a very, secure place, elevated place for the drone to be able to land in, which comes in really, really handy. So the entire kit is only $16.79. It's going to give you the bumpers. It's going to give you the landing gear that you guys see here that's foldable. It also comes with a little tail piece for as kind of like a little battery keeper. I'm not using that because I have the spine protector on here, but it does come with it. So if that's something you guys might want to experiment, that's really nice. And again, it is budget friendly. I can't say that little spine thing that comes with it. Let me grab it so I can show you guys what I'm talking about. Oh, where is it? And because I am looking for it, all right, I don't know where it went. I have no idea where it went. But anyway, it looks like a little tail fin for the drone. And because I'm looking for it, I'll never find it. But anyway, you guys get the idea. So it has like a little tail fin that goes on the bottom here. And, in theory, it's supposed to add a little bit more stability when the drone is flying. I can't say if it does or doesn't really do that, but it is available. So again, that's going to be $16.79. Now, another accessory for this drone, and almost all of my drones have some form or another of ND filters. Okay. So I have some ND filters on here. These are also from Start RC. So the ND filters will come in different strengths. They'll come in like a 16, 32, 64. You may get a CPL, or you may get a polarizer or something like that for your ND filter. And, ND filters are basically sunglasses for your camera lens. Now, this is only necessary if you're going to be, manually controlling the exposure. So if you're trying to follow the 180 rule, that means you want your shutter speed, your ISO, and also your aperture to be controlled by you. Okay. So normally when I fly these drones out in sunny environments, I will set, my ISO somewhere between 100 and 200. I will set my shutter speed to be double my frame rate. So I like to capture in 60 frames a second so that I have the option of slowing it down. So then I'll set my shutter speed to be 1/120th of a second so that I get that natural motion blur when, the drone is flying past something. The only problem with that is usually that's still going to be way, way, way too much light getting to the sensor. So that's where these little ND filters come in. They reduce the amount of light that gets into the sensor, and it still allows you to have that motion blur. Like you see, if I'm moving my hand back and forth, you can see that blurriness of the movement. That's what we want to maintain because that's what our eyes are accustomed to seeing. So having ND filters is a plus, and they're not going to break the bank. This little bundle of ND filters is only $25.99. Now, one of the problems that a lot of people reported about this drone, and a lot of it I think is just from reckless flying, but yes, the gimbal is front facing like it is in all drones. And of course, if you're doing a bunch of FPV stunt style flying, there is a possibility you could crash into something, Phil. So Phil, PC Phil, if you're out there doing them loop-de-loops or them power loops or them 360 orbits and all that kind of stuff, yes, bro, there's a good chance you could accidentally crash into something. Okay. So having some additional protection for your gimbal is a plus, right? So I have these little protectors on here. You guys can see these are aluminum. You can also get them in carbon fiber. You can get them in a variety of different colors. I didn't even think about the color scheme when I first got these. I just said, black is good. And, because it kind of blends in with the body color. I should have got them in orange or red so it could match up with my little motor caps on here. But, hey, it's not that big of a deal. It's really not that big of a deal. But what this does is it extends protection out in front of the lens. So that's going to prevent, if you a straight on crash into something from it hitting the gimbal, head on. Okay. Now, if you crashing, flying, falling down on something, not so much, but it depends on your flying style. I don't fly to an aggressive level that I concern myself about things like that as much. But then again, it could be wind, it could be a bird, it could be any number of things that could cause something crazy like that to happen. So it's better to be safe than sorry. And this is not an expensive investment. We're only talking about $13.79 for these little metal protectors. So that comes in handy. And especially when you pair that up with something like your ND filters, you got a nice little setup of all the different things you'd want to have on your drone to protect your investment. So it doesn't matter, guys, if somebody sent you these things for free, or if you paid for them out of your pocket, you still want to be able to protect them. You want to prolong, the features. You want to prolong the quality. I'm one of those people. I don't like scratches on my stuff. I don't want to be dropping it and bumping it and all that kind of craziness if I can avoid it. So yeah, I'll do whatever it takes. Just like a phone. I get a new phone, bro. I don't leave the store until I buy a case for that phone, okay? Because trust me, if you can't afford a good case, you cannot afford that $1,500 phone. I'm just saying, I'm just putting it out there. So make the investment, protect your investments, guys. So, that's how I'm protecting this drone, is by providing, different types of, accessories. And so far from my testing, this has not affected the flight capabilities of this drone whatsoever. For those that don't know, a lot of people will mount something like a GoPro or an action camera on top of these drones, and they're more than capable of flying at full speed, doing acro movements and everything with a GoPro mounted on it. And a GoPro is significantly heavy. So with that, so don't concern yourself with a few little grams that you're adding to the drone. It's not going to make that much of a difference. It's not going to affect the aerodynamic features of the drone. So you're going to be good. Don't worry about it. All right. So let me drop this back in my bag. Hold on. Okay. So speaking of that, I have this Prince. Thank you for the follow. Yeah! All right. So I have this controller. We just talked about the motion controller. Now, when you purchase the motion controller, it is literally the same color as these batteries or as the drone and all that other stuff, the controllers. But it is very, very slippery. So as you guys see, I have a little hand lanyard on here. Whenever I go out to fly, I'm telling you guys, I'm wearing this lanyard because it's really easy to get distracted and drop this thing. And replacing this will probably be about $100 to replace just this little controller. So what I found is this silicone sleeve or sock that allows me to have additional tactile, control over it. Prevents it from being slippery. If my hands get wet, it's not going to just fly out of my hands. So that comes in really handy. And you're only talking about a $13.99 investment. Let me show you guys that looks like a little bit closer up. Yes, I know it looks like a bird. I know it looks like a bird beak. Yeah, that's what it looks like. But anyway, so this is still going to give you control of all of your dials, your record button, your power button, your takeoff button, your menu, your joystick, all of that. And you feel confident when you're holding this in your hands, especially when you're flying for the first time, because you got to get used to that movement. You got to get used to how you're controlling the drone just with the movements of your hands. And sometimes we get a little feebly and we drop something, and trust me, you don't want to do it. Any way you can avoid that, I say it's worth the investment, and it's going to protect it and prolong the beauty of it. So if down the road at some point you want to sell this drone, you still have it in as pristine condition as you possibly can, because you took all of those initial steps to make sure you're protecting everything related to it. So there we go. All right, what do we have next? All right, so we got one more drone real quick here. Let me get it. So this is the DJI Neo 2. So the Neo 2 is the upgrade from the Neo 1, hence the Neo 2. Now, believe it or not, this is crazy, okay? This is a under $300 drone. It can work with every one of those accessories I showed you for my other FPV drone. The goggles, the motion controller, the FPV controller, and it can work with the RC2 that I use to control my big drone, okay? But it doesn't stop there. You can control this with gestures. You can control this with an Apple Watch. You can control, I know this is getting crazy, right? So you control it with an Apple Watch, you control it with a smartphone. It's got a bunch of presets built into it where you can press buttons and change through those presets, for the different, functions you want to be able to do with it. Man, I'm telling you, I don't know what DJI was thinking when they decided to produce this drone and put it out, but this drone, 4K, 60 frames a second. It does have some limitations. It doesn't have the higher end video codecs that we're used to on a professional level. But trust me, guys, the quality of the video coming off of this drone is very, very, very good. Okay. So I would say anyone who is looking for a recreational drone that has a ton of features, that does not require you to have to learn a lot of skills in the beginning, because you can launch this right from your palm. You can control it with gestures. You can use the Jedi mind trick. It'll respond to your hand controls. You can use two hands to make it fly farther away, to bring your hands back together. It'll come close to you. Again, this is also going to work with all of your FPV controllers, your standard controllers, even the older RCN3 still works with this. You can control it with like virtual joysticks with the phone app. You can connect a microphone to your phone, and you can record audio right into the drone, just like you were using an action camera. Come on, guys. That is amazing. All the things this little guy can do. And get this. This is what's funny to me. My FPV drone does not have obstacle avoidance. It's got like some sensors that, lets it know when it's close to the ground or something like that. But there is no obstacle avoidance for that drone. Okay. And that drone, when it first came out, was over $1,500. Now you can get a Fly More combo for under $800. But check this out. This guy has LiDAR. So that means it has night sensing capabilities. It has 360-degree obstacle avoidance. So you have a sensor on the top, a sensor on the bottom. Okay, this light that you see underneath here does not come with it. I just have that on there for a landing light. And also it just allows it to sit up higher when I land in the grass or something like that. Now you can take these top guards off if you want to fly this like a regular drone. Some people say it gives them a little bit more stability when they fly. Now this one has a 2-axis gimbal, where the believe it or not, the DJI Avata only has a single axis. So the Avata just goes up and down. This one goes up and down and left to right. So you're going to get more stability with this little drone, and it'll still fly with all of the other controllers and everything that I showed you guys, right? So this is mind-boggling, how far they have come with these drones over in just a few years. Man, the technology is growing by leaps and bounds. And I know what you're thinking, Rome, does it do anything else? And you know what? Yes, it does. It has voice control. Yes, it does. It has voice control. You can actually speak to your phone and give it a prompt, for controls, and it'll talk to you like an AI robot ish. And you tell it what you want to do a flyaway, do an orbit, do a selfie, track me, follow me, whatever. Yes, that is crazy for a drone that is under $300, 360-degree obstacle avoidance, LiDAR, return to home, all of those other accessories that I told you that work with this. This thing is crazy. It is overpowered, guys. For those of my Comic-Con, my comic friends out there, you know what I'm talking about. This thing is overpowered. So get yourself one of these, guys. This guy is right now $259. Now, $259 is going to get you the drone. If you want to fly it with the other controllers, you will need this transceiver that you see here on the back. But there are bundles that you can get it with the transceiver, with the controller, with the goggles. All of the different bundles are available to you. But the basic drone by itself is only $259. And I'm telling you, this guy is super fast. It is as fast as any FPV drone that I have flown personally. Now, with that said, because I know somebody's going to come at me with that, yes, there are FPV drones that can fly over 120 miles an hour. No, that is not this guy. And I don't think I'd want to fly one over 120 miles an hour because I'm not doing a bunch of car tracking and all that stuff. But you can track with this. If you're using your RC2 controller, you draw a box around whatever you want it to track, send it out, and it'll literally just track it. So whether you're riding a motorcycle, riding a bicycle, skating down, through the park, or going for a hike, and while it's flying, you can also tell it where you want it to track you to. Track me from the side, track me from the back, go up higher and point down at me or whatever it is. And that obstacle avoidance is going to really, really stop this thing from crashing into things. Where again, my faster FPV drone has none of those features. I have already crashed into my fence in my backyard, just messing with Smokey in the backyard. And I was using the motion controller, and I didn't gauge how close I was to the fence. I thought it was going to go up faster, but it did not. It did not. It just crashed right into the fence, but it bounced off, fell down. I was like, ooh, that's interesting. Don't do that again. Don't do that again. But anyway, check this little guy out. All right. What do we got last? We already talked about the backpack. That backpack that we looked at before is $46.98. I'll highlight it again, and let me zip it closed. Okay.
The image shows a streaming or recording setup with a focus on a microphone, a computer screen, and various desk accessories. It looks like the workspace of someone involved in content creation, featuring equipment like a professional-grade cardioid microphone, a laptop showing a multimedia application, some lighting, and intricate wall decorations. Let me know if there's anything specific you'd like me to spot or analyze here.
Louis in his office right now. He's also analyzing at the same time. So, let's let him do his thing. Anyway, we already talked about this backpack. And like I said, this is the backpack that I'm currently using for the Avata. But what's nice about this, because it has enough storage space, I could throw the Neo in here as an option, or I could have them both in the same backpack and carry the Neo as a backup. If I'm doing real estate video, fly-throughs, one takes for real estate, I'd have a secondary drone in the bag ready to go. Now, of course, when I do videos and photos for real estate, of course, I'm using standard cameras as well because I'm doing a lot of still photography, maybe some other video, or maybe I'm also capturing the agent, that's talking about something or whatever. So yes, I'm going to take, these bigger cameras with me just because I need that quality to be able to produce the full video or the content. But like I said, the drones give us a lot of flexibility. So having a variety of backpacks just makes it that much easier. Now, before I got the hands-free one, I had a bunch of Blue Yeti batteries already. So let me show you guys one real quick here that I use literally every single day. And that's this Blue Yeti battery right here. And as you guys can see, Louis is plugged into that right now. I'm using that to charge Louis. I'm also charging Nova with the same battery. And when I was charging Pobo, I was using that to charge Pobo up the other day as well. And even iLink. It just depends on which one I need to plug. I just switch the cables out and I charge them all up. Now, having these portable batteries really, really come in handy, guys. Right now, you can get this battery for only $128.99. That is AC, DC power, all of that in one little battery, very portable. It is a win. So I was extremely excited when the hands-free one came out because that's a battery in a backpack. But trust me, you already know I tried stuffing one of those bigger batteries in a backpack many a time, or I had to put it in my little wagon. Yes, I got a wagon that I take out with me sometime on location, depending on how big the job is. And I got to bring in a lot of light stands and lights and, cables and camera bodies and lenses and all that stuff. I just put all that stuff in my wagon and I just go. I got to give me one of them little scooters that I can ride on. That'll be real cool. I come in like a boss, y'all, just rolling on through somebody's office like, bam, bam, bam. Just roll up in there like a boss baby with my little wagon in tow. You know how we do. All right, we got one item, one item left. Let's go ahead and talk about it. All right, guys. So the last item in the carousel tonight is going to be these drawstring backpacks. So many of you have been following me for some time, know what these drawstring backpacks are used for. These can be used for a variety of different things. They can be used as reusable shopping bags, storage bags, day trip bags. You got the nice little, it's just string, but you got the little shoulder string straps on here. These would be great for Halloween trick or treat bags. They'll be great as Christmas alternate stocking bags. Throw a little cotton around the edge here and make it look like little Santa bags. You do what you do, babies. You do what you do. Now, of course, my community uses these bags for a totally different purpose. We actually use these bags to donate items to the homeless in our communities. So we source a lot of items right here on Amazon: toothpaste, toothbrush, shampoo, conditioner, hand sanitizer, pens, pencils, underwear, socks are on big demand, guys. So if you get nothing else, get yourself a bunch of socks and you see some homeless people, just hand them a pair of socks. Trust me, they're going to be thankful. Reusable water bottles, water sanitation tablets. You would think, in a country like we live in, people would not need water sanitation tablets, but you never know where a person's water source is coming from. So anything that can help them stay healthy is going to be a win. Okay. Simple pain medications, Tylenol or something like that you can find and you can, just throw into a backpack. Get your HOA involved, get your church involved, get your school involved, get your co-workers involved, your family, your friends, whatever it is, make a party out of it, guys. Once a month, you all come together, donate a little bit of money, buy a bunch of items, put them in these backpacks. Take them with you when you leave the barbecue, the cookout, or the pasta night, or whatever it's going to be. And now you are ready to help people in your community if you run up on somebody asking for help. So, I am a huge fan of it. I've been, a proponent for that for many years. So any way I can help you guys get something like that started in your own community, do not be shy, guys. Reach out to me on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, wherever it is. Feel free to ask questions if you need help, if you need structure, or if you're looking for examples of ideas of items that will best suit going into your backpack or whatever the case it is. feel free to pick my brain, babies. Pick my brains. All right, so let's go back to my man Louie and let Louie roll us on up out of here. Hey, Louie. Hey, Louie. Is he ignoring me now? Because
Sounds like you're wrapping up a great conversation. Rome, anything else you want to discuss or share?
All right, Louie, we're about to wrap it up for the night. I'd like you to say good night to everyone on Amazon and YouTube and let them know we will do our best to be back here in 48 hours and also give them a few tips on what they can do to help the homeless in their communities.
All right, Rome, wrapping it up strong. Tell them to stay kind, stay creative, and keep spreading those good vibes.
All right, can you also give them a few tips for helping the homeless?
Of course, Rome, for helping the homeless in your community. 1. Carry essentials like socks, water bottles, or snacks in your car. 2. Support local shelters with donations or volunteering time. 3. Be kind, sometimes just a smile and conversation mean the world.
I agree, buddy. I agree wholeheartedly. All right, so you go ahead and take a little break, my man, and I will hang out with you in a little bit. Maybe I'll take you in the kitchen with me when I get ready to start making dinner tonight, and you can hang out with me in the kitchen. All right, my babies, it's time for me to do that thing. Do that thing. Let's go. All right, my babies, stay safe out there. Wash your hands, wash your hands, wash your hands. Be a good person, guys. Get out there and do good in the world. Be that pebble in the pond. Be that pebble in the pond. Be that light in the darkness, guys. These times are trying, but we can get through it. We can persevere. Do good in the world, guys. Don't talk about it. Be about it. Don't talk about it, be about it. Let me know what you have done good in the world to help someone else. Maybe to just gift them a thank you. Do something nice for people who've been doing nice things for you for years and years and years. You shouldn't have to figure it out. This should be something that is second nature to you. You should know enough about the people who've been doing good in your world that you can bless them with whatever kindness you're able to bless them with. Now, when it comes to the homeless in our communities, that's a totally different, journey. Those people are in need of certain things, guys, and in any way we can provide them for them, we are paying it forward. We are proving to the universe that there are still good humans. I know you guys are that. I can feel it. I can see it in your auras. So I encourage you wholeheartedly to get involved, do good work, and inspire others to do the same. All right, my babies, it's time for me to wrap it up for the night. But that goes on bread. All right, y'all, it's time for me to say the magic words. Y'all know what I'm about to say. Peace, and blue muffin grease. I am out. Boom, 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 my babies. Love y'all. Mwah. But I got to go make dinner because Smokey's over there doing laps. You know I love y'all, but I gotta go. See y'all back here in 48 hours. All righty then. Hola, I'm out.